There comes a moment after this pain when she begins to notice something small but important. Even though people have gone quiet, her heart is still beating. She is still breathing. She is still standing. She wakes up each day feeling heavy, but she still gets up. She still tries. She still carries herself through the hours. She does not realize it yet, but this is already strength. In those long moments of silence, when no one is calling and no one is asking how she is, her thoughts become louder. She remembers everything she gave, the love, the patience, the effort. She wonders why it was not enough for people to stay. What she does not see yet is that Allah is gently pulling her away from depending on people who could not hold her heart. The loneliness feels painful because she is used to giving so much of herself. She is used to caring, listening, supporting, and showing up. So when no one shows up for her, the emptiness feels deep. But that emptiness is not there to destroy her. It is there to teach her where her strength truly comes from. In the quiet, she begins to speak to Allah more honestly, not with perfect words, not with long speeches, but with simple cries from her heart. Sometimes all she can say is, Ya Allah, I am tired. Ya Allah, I don't understand. Ya Allah, please don't leave me. And Allah does not turn away from those words. When she feels unseen, Allah sees her. When she feels unheard, Allah listens. When she feels unsupported, Allah supports her in ways she cannot yet recognize. This moment feels like everything is falling apart, but in reality, something is coming together inside her. She is learning to stand without leaning on people. She is learning to breathe without depending on approval. She is learning that her worth does not come from who stays or who leaves. Allah is slowly building her from the inside, giving her calm where there was fear, giving her clarity where there was confusion, giving her peace where there was pain. The strength Allah is preparing for her is not loud. It is not aggressive. It does not come from proving anything to anyone. It comes from knowing she is held even when her hands are empty. One day she will look back at this moment and realize it was not the end of her story. It was the beginning. The moment she thought she was breaking was the moment Allah was shaping her into someone stronger, steadier, and closer to Him than she had ever been before. When people leave, Allah draws near. When people leave, it often hurts more than words can explain. Not just because they go, but because of what their leaving makes her feel. She starts replaying moments in her mind, conversations, promises, memories that once felt safe. She wonders how someone who was once so close could become so distant, how someone who knew her heart could walk away so easily. People leave for many reasons. Some leave because they are tired and do not want to carry emotional weight anymore. Some leave because life pulls them in other directions and they forget the hearts they once promised to protect. Some leave because they were only meant to be part of her journey for a short time, not the whole road. Their leaving feels personal, but often it is not. What feels like rejection is sometimes just Allah removing what was never meant to stay. And while people leave, Allah does not. When things become uncomfortable, people step back. When pain becomes heavy, Allah steps closer. When everyone turns their back, Allah turns toward her with mercy. When no one listens to her words, Allah listens to what she cannot even say out loud. When no one asks how she is really feeling, Allah knows the weight sitting in her chest. When her phone stays quiet and the room feels too silent, Allah is present in that silence. She may feel alone in the world, but she is never alone with Allah. And when she has no one left to wipe her tears, Allah opens the door for her to cry only to Him. Those tears are not ignored. They are seen. They are counted. Every tear carries a story, and Allah knows each one. Those tears are not a sign that she is weak. They are a sign that her heart is alive and still connected to her Lord. Crying to Allah means she still believes. It means she has not lost hope even when she feels broken. It means she trusts Allah with her pain, her fears, and her shattered expectations. This kind of crying is not humiliation. It is honor. It is the heart lowering itself before the one who can truly lift it. What feels like loneliness is actually closeness to Allah. What feels like emptiness is Allah making room for Himself in her heart. This is not the end of her strength. This is the place where her strength quietly begins, built not on people who come and go, but on Allah who never leaves. Loneliness is not punishment, it is protection. Loneliness often feels like a heavy sentence, like proof that she was forgotten, like a sign that she was not important enough for people to stay. She looks around and sees others surrounded by company, laughing, moving forward, building new connections, and she wonders why she is standing alone. She asks herself if she failed somehow, if she loved too deeply, if she trusted the wrong people, if she was too much or somehow not enough. But loneliness is not always a loss. Sometimes it is a mercy she does not recognize yet. Sometimes Allah allows loneliness not to punish her, but to protect her. He protects her from people who slowly drained her energy without giving anything back. From conversations that left her feeling smaller each time. From words that cut deeper than they healed. From attachments that looked like love on the surface, but were quietly breaking her heart one day at a time. Allah removes people not because she lacked value, but because they could not handle the value she carried. They were too careless with her feelings, too demanding of her patience, too harmful for the heart Allah created with care. What feels like emptiness is not truly empty. It is space. Space where pain can finally breathe instead of being pushed aside. Space where wounds can finally close instead of being reopened again and again. Space where her heart can rest without fear, pressure, or disappointment. Space where Allah gently steps closer. When people leave, they take their noise with them, their opinions, their judgments, their expectations of who she should be. And in that silence, Allah begins to fill what was hurting her. He fills it with calm. He fills it with understanding. He fills it with a strength that could not grow while her heart was busy surviving others. Loneliness is not Allah turning away from her. It is Allah turning her away from what was harming her. And in that quiet protection, without distraction or interference, her healing slowly begins. This is where her real strength is born. When a woman has no one but Allah, the change does not happen all at once. It begins quietly, deep inside her heart. At first, she still reaches out. She still hopes someone will notice her pain. She still waits for the love she once expected. But slowly, she begins to let go. She stops begging for love from people who never knew how to love her properly. She stops chasing attention from those who only saw her when it was convenient for them. She stops explaining herself, stops proving her worth, stops shrinking or stretching herself to fit into spaces that were never meant for her. And without realizing it, she starts standing on her own, not with anger, not with bitterness, not with pride, but with calm. She learns how to sit alone without feeling empty inside. She learns how to be quiet without feeling afraid of the silence. She learns how to rest without needing reassurance from anyone. She learns how to sleep without crying herself into exhaustion. She learns how to wake up without checking her phone for messages that never come. She learns how to smile without waiting for someone else to give her permission. Her strength is not loud. It does not show in bold words or forced confidence. It shows in her peace. It shows in the way her heart remains steady. Even when life feels uncertain, it shows in the way she trusts Allah, even when she does not understand what He is doing. She begins to realize something powerful. The days she thought would destroy her did not break her. The nights she cried alone did not weaken her. They revealed the truth. They showed her who was truly holding her together when she felt like she was falling apart. And deep in her heart, she understands this with certainty. I survived what I believed I could never survive, only because Allah was carrying me when I could no longer carry myself. This is not ordinary strength. This is strength shaped by patience. Strength strengthened by prayer. Strength built by Allah Himself. Allah sees what no one ever saw. People often see only the surface. They see the smile she shows. They hear the calm in her voice. They assume she is fine. They do not see how much effort it took to stay that way. They may never notice how much she gave without being asked, how much she sacrificed without speaking about it, how much pain she swallowed, so others could feel comfortable. They may forget her kindness and remember only the moments when she could not give more. They may judge her by what she lacked instead of appreciating all that she carried. But Allah sees everything. He sees the nights when she cried quietly into her pillow so no one would worry about her. He sees the moments when she felt weak and exhausted but still stood up and continued. He sees the patience she showed when her heart was hurting, when she wanted to break down, but her faith reminded her to hold on. He sees the prayers she whispered under her breath because her strength was gone and only her heart was speaking. Not a single tear fell without meaning. Not a single moment of pain was ignored. Nothing she went through was wasted. Every tear was counted. Every struggle was recorded. Every second of patience was valued. Allah never lets pain disappear without purpose. What people overlook, Allah treasures. What the world forgets, Allah remembers. And one day, when the weight of the past feels lighter, she will understand that every hardship, every sacrifice, every quiet moment of pain was shaping her into someone stronger, more gentle, and closer to Allah than she had ever been before. Sabr and salah shape her heart. Patience does not mean that she feels no pain. It does not mean she is unaffected or untouched by hardship. It means that even while she feels the pain, she chooses to trust Allah with it. She carries sadness in her heart, but she does not let it take her faith away. There are days when she cries, days when she feels exhausted, days when she feels weak and overwhelmed. But even on those days, she does not give up on Allah. This is sabr, not the absence of pain, but the decision to stay connected to Allah while going through it. Prayer does not make her problems disappear overnight. Life does not suddenly become easy or perfect, but prayer gives her something much deeper. It gives her the strength to carry what once felt unbearable. When she stands in salah, she steps away from the noise of the world. She steps away from expectations, pressure, and fear. For a few moments, it is just her and Allah. She places her worries into His hands. She bows and her pride softens. She prostrates and the weight in her chest begins to release. In sujood, she speaks to Allah in ways she cannot speak to anyone else. She does not need to explain everything. She does not need to be strong. Allah already knows. Slowly, Without her even noticing, her heart becomes lighter. Not because the problems vanish, but because Allah lifts the heaviness from her soul. She begins to understand something important. Peace does not come from people staying. People change. People leave. Peace comes from Allah staying, and Allah never leaves. So even when life feels uncertain, her heart feels safe. Even when the world feels heavy, her soul finds rest. This is how Sabr and Salah shape her heart. They make it soft enough to feel, strong enough to endure, and steady in the care of Allah. She stops depending on people. When a woman begins to depend only on Allah, the change inside her is quiet but deep. Her heart slowly detaches from needing people to make her feel secure. She no longer allows others to control her emotions. If someone leaves, she feels the pain, but she does not fall apart. If someone disappoints her, her heart aches, but she does not collapse. If someone changes, she feels the shift, but she does not panic. Because her peace is no longer tied to people's words, their attention, or their approval. She learns something powerful. Her happiness does not belong to anyone else. Her heart does not belong to anyone else. Her soul is hers, and it is held by Allah. When people disappoint her, Allah gently reminds her in ways she can feel, I am enough for you. I will never leave you. I see everything you cannot see yourself. With that reminder, something loosens inside her. She feels lighter. She feels safer. She feels stronger. Not because people suddenly become reliable, but because Allah always has been. Nothing is more dependable than Allah. Nothing is more steady. Nothing protects the heart like reliance on Him. Her heart becomes a sanctuary. Not because the world stops being dangerous, but because Allah is guarding her from within. She stops searching for validation. She stops asking for constant reassurance. She stops begging for love that was never meant to stay. She finally understands the truth. When she depends on Allah alone, her strength cannot be shaken. Her peace cannot be broken. Her heart cannot be controlled. And in that reliance, she finds freedom. Her silence becomes strength. She reaches a point where she no longer feels the need to explain herself to everyone. She understands that not every person is meant to understand her journey. Not everyone deserves to hear her story. Not everyone needs to know her pain, her struggles, or the dreams she carries quietly in her heart. She no longer reacts to every hurtful word or every careless comment. She no longer argues to prove her worth. She no longer fights to be accepted by hearts that were never meant to hold her. She has learned that responding to everything only drains her peace, because she has discovered something greater. Allah knows her truth. He knows the effort she puts in when no one is watching. He knows the sacrifices she makes without expecting praise. He knows the weight she carries behind her calm expression, and that knowledge is enough. Her silence is not weakness. It is not surrender. It is not giving up. Her silence is strength. It protects her peace from unnecessary battles. It shields her heart from words that no longer deserve space in her life. It is a sign of wisdom that comes from trusting Allah completely. In this silence, she grows. Her patience becomes stronger. Her faith becomes deeper. Her heart becomes steady, calm, and unshaken by things that once disturbed her. Her silence is maturity. It is the quiet courage of a woman who no longer seeks validation from people. It is the strength of someone who knows her words are precious, her heart is sacred, and her energy is not meant for those who fail to value it. And in this stillness, with Allah as her witness, she finally feels free. Allah rebuilds her from the inside. Allah does not simply remove people from her life and leave her to deal with the pain on her own. When He takes something away, He also gives something back. He rebuilds the woman they left behind. He does not leave her broken. He does not turn away from her tears. He does not abandon her in her confusion. He gently gathers every piece of her heart that was bruised, misunderstood, or hurt, and He mends it with care. Where fear once lived, He places faith. So she no longer shakes at uncertainty and no longer feels lost when the future is unclear. Where pain once lived, He places wisdom. So every hardship becomes a lesson, not something that weighs her down. Where loneliness once lived, He places closeness to Him. So the silence that once felt heavy now feels calm and full of peace. Her heart becomes softer, not bitter. She still feels deeply. She still cares, but she is no longer easily broken by others. Her heart becomes stronger, not colder. It can love fully, but it no longer allows anyone to take advantage of that love. She learns how to give without losing herself. She learns how to forgive without weakening her boundaries. She learns how to care without needing approval or recognition. Every heartbreak she endured had a purpose. Every tear she cried was seen. Nothing she went through was wasted. Allah takes what the world tried to break and turns it into a foundation. A foundation for her faith, a foundation for her strength, a foundation for her dignity. She emerges renewed, not just healed, but wiser, calmer, and stronger than before. She becomes a woman who can love deeply, without fear, without dependence, without losing herself. Because Allah rebuilt her slowly and carefully from the inside out. When a woman reaches a point where she has no one but Allah, she discovers a truth that changes everything. She realizes she was never truly alone. The people she once relied on, the hands she held for comfort, the hearts she trusted with her fears, they were always temporary. They came into her life for a time and then they left. But Allah was permanent. He was with her in every moment, even when she could not feel Him. He was with her when she felt forgotten. He was with her when she cried in silence. He was with her when she thought she had nothing left. And once she understands this deeply, something inside her shifts. She becomes unbreakable, not because life suddenly becomes easy, not because pain disappears, not because disappointment no longer exists, but because she knows who heals her when it hurts. She knows who lifts her when she falls. She knows who restores her when the world lets her down. Her strength is no longer borrowed from people. It no longer depends on who stays or who leaves. Her strength is built from faith. It is anchored in trust. It is strengthened by patience, prayer, and complete reliance on Allah. This is where her strength truly begins. Her heart becomes steady, no longer shaken by every change. Her peace begins to settle, not because her life is perfect, but because her heart is connected to Allah. Her life begins to change, not on the outside first, but from within. She walks forward differently, calm, confident. She moves through life knowing she is protected, guided, and loved by the one who never leaves. Her solitude becomes her source of power. Her trust becomes her shield. Her heart becomes firm and unshakable. And in this truth, she finally understands. She was never alone. She was never helpless. She was never without support. All along, Allah was holding her, and that is where her true strength begins.